Hi there, and welcome to Meet the Leaders. I'm David Smith. Good to have you along with us, and great to have the first select woman of the town of Wilton, Lynne Vanderslice, as our guest on this edition. And it's great to see you, Lynne. How are you?
Thanks, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, gee, we were talking before the show, and Wilton, which is that little country oasis, is getting built up very nicely and helped out, obviously, in the grand list.
Right, exactly. You know, there's a lot of development. If you drive up Route 7, you'll see a lot of things happening, beginning with ASML, which is our largest employer and a really important high-tech business for the state of Connecticut. They're doing an expansion. We have right up the road from there an assisted living facility, 90 beds, which is happening right now. We have
Is that affiliated with any hospital group or anything like that?
That's Sunrise is going into that facility.
Okay.
We have a recently completed medical building just a couple of doors down, and Western Connecticut Health has moved. They've taken over the first floor of that facility.
And they're growing by leaps and bounds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have them in town. We have another right in front of Planning and Zoning right now is a proposal for a mixed use retail on the first floor, 2 stories of rental on above. So we're excited about that. That's fairly new concept to Wilton. It's walkable to the train station, right at the entrance to Wilton Center. And then last week we just learned about a developer that wants to come in and do a 165 unit continuum of care senior facility. So, you know, that's great too. And that's a rental, which you don't often, lots of times those facilities, you have to buy in.
They're not buying into it.
You don't have to buy into this one. So that is definitely a need. We have a lot of seniors that have left and gone up, you know, to a facility in Reading, and now they'll be able to stay in Wilton. So we're excited about that. So it's great development and certainly will help our grand list.
You know, you mentioned transit. And transit on that line is somewhat difficult for a lot of people from time to time. Are we seeing improvements? The folks in Hartford and New York, heck, they've got to get involved too. Are they doing positive things to change that problems that sometimes
You know, there are things that we would like to see done. There's talk about a shuttle from Sono to South Norwalk to Merritt 7, and it would be very easy to bring that shuttle up to Wilton. So we're advocating for that. We would hope to see that. You know, I've been in meetings with the DOT commissioner. He's been very, very honest and upfront about the limited funds and where that line is in the priorities, which is not up at the top. But I know the Merritt 7 shuttle is a bit of a priority, so we're hoping that we could have that expanded up to Wilton.
They have not suggested yet whether Bill's going to maintain his position or not, but he's generally getting pretty good reviews from a lot of different areas, so we'll see how that plays out.
That's right. He's well liked by the first selectman in this area, I know.
Well, that's very good. The town itself, as we were talking before, you've got these apartment complexes of some sort or mixed use coming in, but single-family homes, which was of course the backbone of Wilton for up until the last 35 or 40 years, seem to be pretty well booked up.
Yes, we're pretty much built out. And of course, there's still demand for single-family homes. We still have young families moving in. We renovated our entry-level school, which is K through 2, and that's now a beautiful, virtually looks like new school. So we're attracting a lot of young families as a result of that. And so, you know, that's important. The volume of sales is pretty much leveled off. Just like in every other town, the top of the market took a pretty big hit after the recession, and that decline has stayed, so makes that market a little bit more affordable, but it's definitely slower. But we still are a very, very competitive when you look at our price, total cost of living in Wilton versus another town. You know, your average sales price in Wilton is about half of what it is in New Canaan. And so even though New Canaan has a mill rate that's about half of ours, you're really paying the same property tax. So when you look at the total picture, we're still very, very competitive and less expensive than some of our neighbors.
And if you're built up, that means that the property values for those that are there should be seeing some increase, hopefully, along the way. So
Well,
that
definitely,
people are more comfortable.
if you look at the say the bottom 50% of our price range,
Yeah.
that is very, very strong. And we're in the revaluation process right now where the values will come out in December.
Okay.
And I think what people in that lower 50% are going to see is that their values maybe have gone up. The people in the upper 50%, their values may have stayed the same versus 2012, maybe a little bit down.
Now, you alluded to one of the schools and so forth. Schools have been the backbone of Wilton for many
Absolutely.
years, and as a result, they are excellent.
Right.
You maintaining that
Yes.
all right, and they're obviously very, very filled.
Right, things are great there. We have a really innovative superintendent of schools who came in, I guess, just right before I did in 2014.
Okay.
I have a great relationship with him. He's done some interesting things. So the schools are doing very well. Our sports teams continue to be amazing, something that was always a source of pride for Wilton.
Sure.
I don't know if you read about, we were the first in the state to put in a coconut husk infill turf in our stadium with concussion padding. So no more, I don't know if you have been on those fields with that awful black crumb rubber.
I have smelled them.
Yeah, so we don't have that in Wilton anymore. So our fields, we did that in 2016 at the high school, and we've done it again at the just finished a field, soccer field at the high school. So we have the safest fields. We may not have the most fields, but we have the safest fields in the state. And we're getting calls from a number of towns who are following our lead and interested in installing
Looking
this.
to hear how they've worked out and
Right,
so forth,
right.
and apparently they're doing real well.
Oh, they're great. People love them. They come and play on them. You know, the crumb rubber, not only does it get all over your clothes and sometimes, you know,
Everywhere
you
else.
ingest it,
Yeah.
but it's hot. And so they come onto our field and it's cool and you don't, have that
boy.
mess. So we are looking at the whole child and providing a great educational environment, a safe environment, in a lot of ways, including on the sports field.
Sure. You optimistic with the new administration coming into Hartford?
I don't know what to expect, to be honest. That's our biggest risk to Wilton. We've already seen various costs be pushed down to us. Last April, we all got an email that said the state's no longer going to support the state senior tax relief. So fortunately, Wilton, we were able to pick up that cost, but I think there's going to be more surprises like that. And I very much expect that part of that pension, teacher pension, is going to be pushed down to us.
Let's
and
think
that's
positively.
Gonna be tough.
We'll hope
I know.
that it's more optimistic
I have
than
to
that.
be
but
pragmatic.
Absolutely you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, we're so glad to have you with us. Glad you could stop by today.
Thanks.
And hope that the holidays are great, and it sounds like it's a bright future continuing for Wilton.
Yep, it looks
Appreciate
good. All right, thank you very much.
First
I appreciate
Selectwoman,
it.
Lynne Vanderslice, our guest on this edition of Meet the Leaders. Sounds good, doesn't it? I'm David Smith.